French.
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 Gloomy on sunny days, shadows, no house or trees. Prayers not close to me as I bow down and take a knee. Hell goes far as the eye can see. Hoodies and weaponry, naive to be.
The word francophonie was first employed by French geographer Onésime Reclus in 1880 to refer to people and countries across the world using the French language. Today, the number of French speakers has exceeded 220 million, making the language the second most spoken mother tongue within the European Union and the ninth most spoken in the world. More than half of these people live in Africa, according to the International Organization of la Francophonie, the OIF. Algeria is home to Northern Africa's largest French-speaking community. More than 11 million people know how to read and write in the language. Tunisians far outnumber Moroccans when it comes to the percentage of the total population using the language. However, in terms of numbers, there are far more Moroccans practicing French. In sub-Saharan Africa, the three countries with the highest number of French users are the Democratic Republic of Congo, Ivory Coast and Cameroon. In the Indian Ocean, Madagascar has the most, but the language is more present in daily life in the Seychelles and Mauritius. Lebanon is outnumbered by Egypt in the Middle East. In Central and Eastern Europe, Romania, Poland and Moldova come out on top. In Canada, Quebec boasts 7 million speakers, some 88% of the province's total population of nearly 8 million. Further south in the Caribbean, Haiti flies the flag highest for the French language. Finally, in Asia, the number remains low but stable. Along with English, French is the only language spoken and taught on all 5 continents. There are an estimated 900,000 French teachers worldwide. According to the OIF, by 2050 nearly 85% of the world's French speakers will live in Africa. Europe is likely to be home to just 12%.
When I get asked the question, why do I love French? The most relevant answer would probably be the fact that I can just count to 10 whenever I want to in a different language.
Oh, sorry, I was just studying French. Because it's fun. You should take French because it's fun.
I like French because French is the language of love, and I like love.
French my freshman year was one of the best decisions I've ever made. If you look at it from this perspective, learning English or learning Spanish is just so boring compared to French. And if you ever have the chance to go on the French trip, you get to go to France, and it's so much cooler to be able to go to France knowing the language than just knowing English, because you can really take in the culture and everything. And Paris is the city of love and everything, and French is the language of love. And it's just so beautiful how people can talk in French. It just sounds so pretty and so much better than English or Spanish.
I like French because you get to learn more about other cultures. You know, I mean, I took Spanish for a few years, but I like French a lot. I like French a lot because, you know, if you stick with it, you can learn a lot, and you can learn about the other cultures in Europe. And French is a very widely spoken language throughout the world, and it's very useful.
But people walk up to me all the time when I'm in Paris, and they're like, "You want a croissant?" And I'm like, "I know what a croissant is. All these people don't know what croissant is from the U.S. And you know what? Because of my French class, my French teacher, Madame, I wouldn't know words like croissant."
And going off of how she said about taking it freshman year, I think that's a very smart decision, because you take it on, as soon as you start taking it, you realize that this is the language you want to be learning, that it's so great and so beautiful in so many ways. And taking French freshman year is very smart, because if you start later on, you're going to want to learn more and stuff, but then you feel like your time is up and it was just all a waste.
It's amazing how culturally attached you can get to a language as beautiful as French. On the average day, I find myself accidentally thinking in French all the time. Like, someone will walk up to me and be like, "Yo, hey," and I'm just like in my head like, "Bonjour, bonjour," and I accidentally say it back every once in a while, and they're like, "Who is this kid?"
This is my career at Notre Dame, like Russian and Spanish, and those two languages haven't stuck with me like French did this year. I've really fallen in love with the culture, and now I know that French fries aren't really French, they're American.
Going to a French-speaking country after about a year of French, obviously you're not going to be fluent after a year, but you can pick pick out words that you know and kind of get the baseline of what they're trying to say. So the spring break when I went to St. Martin's in the British Virgin Islands, like we were on a bus with my family and the driver was like talking to some of the locals and my parents had no clue what they were saying and I like could pick out words so I could kind of tell them what they were talking about. So that's a good thing about learning French.
I realized that I can pick out French words and that I can talk with the locals at the country.
After a great year in French 1, I'm definitely developing as a fluent speaker in the language, and I actually got the opportunity to go to St. Martin Island this year, which is off the coast of the British Virgin Islands, and being there was like a really cool experience just because most of the locals all speak French, and it's really hard to find English around there besides for tourists like me. So I mean, it's cool having them around to, you know what I mean, you kind of listen to them even though you don't really understand what they're saying too well. I can still pick out words like bonjour.
So with what Paige said, the culture. Really, learning the language brings out the culture and the whole experience, and it's just so great to learn about that and learn about the city along with the language. It's just a really great experience.
In a class like French 1, you get introduced to a lot of great foods through Madame, and because of that, you know, we get to try a lot of really, really great tasting things, and you know, on the average day, someone will walk up to me and like, hey, you want to try some pizza? And I'll be like, no, I want a fresh baguette, you know? I want to like go to the chateau and get some croissants, because I know what that means.